What does it mean, though, if the U.S. goes over the fiscal cliff? Technically, the U.S. already going over the fiscal cliff because the House is adjourning. Tom Foreman is joining us now with more details. What are you seeing, Tom? What does it mean?
You know, Wolf, even if you don't care about politics, you don't care about the president, you care about the parties or Congress or anything else, you should be watching this number back here right now, because if this gets to zero without a deal, every taxpayer in America is going to be affected, or at least we're going to be one giant step closer to them being affected, because taxes will go up for everyone. By how much? Let's look at some examples here. Let's say that you make $50,000 a year. That's the median income in this country. I'm talking about for a couple, for a family. It's a little bit different with individuals, but still pretty close. If you make $50,000 a year, your taxes are going to go up by $2,000 next year and every year after that, unless this thing is fixed somehow. That's a whopping amount of money for people making that little, and that's what is in place if this goes that direction. What about if you make more than that? Let's say that you make $75,000 a year. That's a pretty good bit more. But if you make $75,000 a year, you're going to pay an additional $3,500 in taxes next year and every year after that, unless something is done about that. So another big increase there for a couple. And now let's look at $250,000. This is the amount the president's been talking about a whole lot. $250,000 a year. Your taxes will go up by $8,000 next year if a deal is not struck. Now, currently, with the numbers we're talking about, Wolf, if they can make this deal where the cutoff for all of this happening is $450,000, then none of this happens. All of these people would keep the current Bush-era tax cuts. They would not see these increases. The increases would only kick in for people who are making more than $450,000 as a couple or more than $400,000 in an individual. They would return to the Clinton-era tax rates of 39.5% versus 35% right now. But that's only if there's a deal. If there is not a deal, this is what's waiting for virtually all of us out there, which is a whole lot more taxes than we currently pay. And I do want to point one more thing out here, Wolf. Already in the coming year, you're probably going to see your taxes go up a little bit, because this past year we've all enjoyed a relief from payroll taxes. Those have been reduced a little bit. There's no real sign that that's going to continue. There's going to be a little bump up, so that if you make, say, $30,000 a year, you'll pay maybe $50 more per month. If you made $120,000 a year, you might pay close to $200 more a month. You may not see that so much because it'll just vanish in your check, but nonetheless, that's already coming. It's all the rest of this that is at stake, and that's why I say, whether you care about politics or not, keep watching that number, because that number is tied directly to your wallet, Wolf.